What's going on, people? Welcome to Villa in Noir. It is Julian here, and it is our midweek mashup. Before I do anything, before I get into anything, I want you to like this post. I want you to share this post. I want you to subscribe to the channel and also click that notification bell to make sure that when I post, you know about it. All these things help grow the channel. All these things help spread it across the YouTube world, and I'm really enjoying the engagement so far. What I want you to do is make sure that you're putting your comments in the comment section. Give me your views. Let me understand what you're thinking. Let me hear your thoughts and your feelings about where we are as a club, but also just what I'm saying and the things that I suggest in these weekly posts that I do. All right, cool. Let's get into it. Midweek mashup. International break is now officially over. All the international games in Europe are done. And now we're back onto Premier League football. Aston Villa play Everton on Saturday. We're going to the new stadium in Liverpool. And Jack Grealish is on a tear. He's revitalised himself. And now he's coming up against his hometown club, his boyhood club, Aston Villa. And what are we going to do about it? Before we get into the game and the plan that I think we should put forward, where are we in terms of Villa? I want to give a massive shout out to John McGinn, who now becomes the most capped international player in Villa history, I believe. I believe he's at 70 caps for Scotland, or 70 caps whilst he's been at Villa with Scotland. So massive shout out to him. It's a really good shout. It's a really good thing that he has got this achievement. It's really good that Villa actually have multiple international players. It shows how the club is growing. It shows that the caliber of player that we're starting to hold on to and get is a lot higher caliber. So it's a great achievement there. I didn't say this last week, but Yuri Tillemans, he's now the captain of Belgium. Massive shout out to him. What a beautiful thing it is to have two international captains in our ranks, in our midfield, in our club, influential players, in locker room, inspiring players in how they play and how they galvanise the team and also the fans. So massive shout out to Yuri on that, and hopefully that kind of accolade can spur him forward in what has been a quiet start to the season for him. We've been preparing for Everton behind the scenes. I did a little short the other day talking about Jadon Sancho, Harvey Elliott and Victor Lindelof's first training session at Bodymoor Heath. Have a check out of that when you can. But in the meantime, there are a few things that probably put a few spanners into the works in our preparation for the weekend. Matty Cash picked up an injury in his duty for Poland. They're saying that it was a knee to his thigh, so it could be a grade 1, grade 2 tear of the quadricep muscle. For those that don't know what that means, it's basically a dead leg, but depending on how deep the cut is or how severe the tear is of his muscle, it might take a few weeks to clear up. So our right back situation with Andres Garcia already out and now Matty Cash out, it might throw us into a position where we have to, it's going to throw us into a position where we have to play some people outside of their favourable positions. But this might work in our favour because you know how I feel about Matty Cash, but I'll get into that in a moment. And Onana is still out. It would have been good for him to play against his old club, but here we are. And it's a good thing. It's going to be interesting to see what's Unai done in this international break in integrating the new players into the system, and what he puts forward against Everton. So let's get into the Everton game, because for me this is huge. 3 games, 2 losses, 1 draw. 3 games, no goals scored, but near the bottom of the table. I know it's early days, but this is the part of the season where there's a stretch now between this middle of September and the middle of October where there's another international break where we could flip the fortunes of where we are and improve our position in the table, or if things continue in the way that they are, we could end up in a bigger hole coming up to the Christmas period, which is always busy, which is always hard and always difficult. So as much as it is the beginning of the season, it's important that we try and take advantage of these next few weeks as well, especially because Europe hasn't kicked in yet. The other domestic cups and domestic competitions haven't kicked in for us yet. So we need to take advantage of these next few weeks where it is only one game a week before we have to start managing players, managing their time and doing all the game management stuff. Now is the time to capitalize on where we are. And the great thing, as I said at one of my first videos, is that we don't play any of last season's top 4 until the middle to end of October. So now is the time for us to capitalize and win some games. So we have Everton. We haven't lost to Everton since we've returned to the Premier League. We haven't lost to Everton since 2016 in the Premier League anyway. We have a good record against them. I am a bit worried, if I'm honest, about how this game might turn out because we just haven't been playing well. And from what we've seen with Everton, how they went, I think they played City, but they've been toe-to-toe with City and they've had 2 good games on the bounce. You know, Jack Grealish is playing at a high level, so we have to think about how we're going to mitigate that. You know, Ndai on the other side, same thing. But I feel we have the quality to... Yeah, I think we have the quality to be able to do that, to play against them and get a good result on the weekend. I know we're playing away from home, but we have the quality within our team to do that. So I'm going to tell you this isn't my ideal 11, but I think this is the 11 that Unai Emery is going to put out on Saturday, bearing in mind Matty Cash is suspected to be injured. Apart from one thing, I am going to put Martinez in the starting lineup because I believe we should play our best players. We play our best keeper. Bizot has done he's done great for the first 3 games. He was a bit shaky against Crystal Palace. However, and I know that the fans feel away about Emi, but he is one of the best goalkeepers in the world. He's one of the best goalkeepers in the world. You start your best players, you know, and he will show up. He will show up. You know, he can't afford to have a bad showing. So in the formation that Emery likes to play, and I'm gonna show you something in a bit in why I think it can still work. We just have to adapt a different type of approach when we're attacking. But this is what I think this Emery's gonna do. You know, Martinez in goal. Because of the absence of Cash and Garcia, I think he'll push Konsa out to the right. He could play Lamar Bogard there, but I think the safest bet would be Konsa. He actually just had a really good showing for England. I know it was in the centre of defence, but he's our best backup right back, and that's what he did last year. And he actually played really well. And if you watch one of my previous videos, I actually believe that he's better for us in that position. We have to think about the fact that there might be 2 left-footed centre backs now, in Mings and Powell. So he could play Konsa and Mings or Konsa and Powell, and then maybe Lamar Bogard over there. But this is what I think is probably the best option for us in the interim. Obviously, no Kamara at present, and I believe Maatsen will fill out that back 4 with it at left back. Now, as we go into the 2 holders, we'll have Tielemans and McGinn, I believe. Rodgers to play in the 10. Harvey Elliott on the right. Giesand on the left. I would say Sancho, but he has had no pre-season, so we don't even know if he's match fit. And I believe Giesand deserves a second chance because he played against Palace and it was his first outing. Yeah, got to give him a chance to kind of settle in. And then Watkins at the top. Now, this is what I think we need to figure out and where we need to do better. So if you've looked at my previous videos, you've seen that in the last few games, a lot of our possession is in the middle of the park here. And obviously when we're playing, when we're further forward, we kind of keep our shape. Let's just push it forward. We keep our shape and we have McGinn, Tielemans here. We have the right back, we have the left back here, and the centre backs kind of push up here and they kind of sit around here. And what happens is most of our movement, most of our passing is just here. It's just yep, but side to side, cross the back, swing it around to there, into the middle, and most of our action is round here. We never really progress forward into the final third. Now, what I think we need to do, because it's very clear that our passing network, right, is very strong between this box. It seems that we form a strong box here when we're in attack, but it doesn't go forward. And because obviously the other team just form a back line or a low block, and there's not much movement what we do. Now, if you watched England, especially today, or sorry, yesterday against Serbia, you saw the importance of movement with this formation, to keep the ball, movement of the players and movement of the ball, to be able to pull the defenders out of positions. I think if you watch Villa, we're very static. You know, the ball moves, but the players don't move. However, this is just me. I'm not a football expert, but this is what I think we need to have a look at. When I watched England today, the two forwards held their width, and then what you found is that the fullbacks were making runs in here, or if the winger came in, the fullbacks were making runs out there to pull people away. What I think Villa need to do is figure out a way to move this box, right? How we play this box further forward, okay? So I'm suggesting that in attack, and obviously the fullbacks are key here, depending on where the ball is. Now, if the ball goes out to the left, right, we need to hold the width. So what I believe is that when we're in attack, we should have obviously the right wingers stay out here. What happens then is, so either Gisan keeps the width here, Tielemans slots into this space here, right, and Maatsen kind of comes in here and he kind of fills over here, and we kind of form a back three. They kind of fall into this space, yeah? And the fullback's key here, underlapping runs, if Gisan comes in, overlapping runs. And what that does for me, what I'm seeing is, you kind of form a box here. So whereas before, the box was held between the two DMs and the centre-backs, the box moves further forward. This box, if you want to keep this kind of central spine, you've got the box but further forward, which one pins the defence even further back. And if these guys are moving, these kind of runs in behind, you have Watkins coming short, Rodgers running over, you know, all that kind of stuff there, pulling defenders out of positions, the ball will do the work. And I believe you can break down that low block like that. Okay? So there's that. So let's flip it to the other side. Let's have a look at another how it could go. So another option is the inside forward. So this is where I think Jadon Sancho would be good, because he can come in and play here as well. And then that left back goes there. And obviously you have your three at the back still. Yeah? These guys that are used to playing centre back anyway. And again, you've got ball players. If say this was Sancho, not Gisan, I don't know what his ball play skills like. You've got ball players, hold the ball, pass the ball around, swing it out to the wings, making those runs, coming in, McGinn pulls out the outside, whatever, yeah? Or McGinn drops. So if Harvey Elliott comes in, Konsa pushes forward, McGinn's there to cover this backtrack, or the centre defensive midfield able to do that. So I think that there's something there about. Sorry, let's put it back to the main formation. So in defence, this is what we do. Yeah. Swan out, and there we go. We got back to our 4-2-3-1. Yeah. What I think that does. So that's an option. My only debate there is that it might get congested in this area here. But this is where the importance of the runners, movement. You know, Watkins comes in here, lays something around the court. Watts comes here, just lays a corner run. Yeah, all that kind of stuff. If you saw Madueke's goal for England today, you saw how Morgan Rogers jumped in there. Madueke went a boom on a run, bam. Nice little play. The ball came from the back as well. So I just think that there is something to look at how you make this 4-2-3-1 work. If you watched England today, you watched how Reece James as a right back came in and filled in the midfield role. A bit like when Pep did it with John Stones stepping into that gap and how Liverpool made Trent come forward last year. I think this is how you kind of get past that low block. You have to overload that space. But then the defenders have to be strong enough. I think this is the best way for us to make this work with the new players that we have. You know, I would even go as far as, if Kamara comes back, right? If Kamara comes back and say McGinn has to drop, because I'm not dropping Yuri. Yeah. I don't know why that line's coming there. Sorry, my bad. I'm not dropping Yuri. If Kamara comes back, it frees Yuri Tilliams to be that 8. And what we could do then is look at, even attacking wise, going into a single pivot kind of style with the fullbacks kind of just tucking in a little bit here and having this kind of, yeah. The whole point is you want to have players forward, right? And keep the width. Someone has to keep the width. If these guys come in, you need fullbacks to keep the width. But I think with Elliot and Guisando, Sancho holding the width, it creates those inside running lanes for these guys to come through and all that kind of stuff there. But this is what I think we should be looking to do in our response. Morgan Rogers, a little bit more freedom to drop deep, swap, drop deep movement, all that kind of stuff there. And I think we can do that. What I don't want to see is what we've seen for the last few games, is where it's just go forward, clogged. These guys don't pass halfway, or Matty Cash is just kind of just holding there, going around, passing it back inside, or the right back, sorry. You got McGinn, you got Tielemans, you got the 2 centre backs, and they're just holding it here. And it doesn't go anywhere further forward because no one's making that run. No one's coming to collect the ball here. There's no go forward on the outside. We can't allow ourselves to get into that position. Now, at present, I believe this is our best opportunity, best 11 to go forward. Now, if I was going to put who I think our best 11 is, I would say I would keep Konsa there because I'm not a fan of Matty Cash, as you guys know. I need to watch Lindelof. I need to see what Lindelof is saying. I also think Pau Torres has to be our centre-back because he is the centre-back that can unlock defences. So say now, I'll get back to my chosen 11 in a second, just to go back to what I was saying earlier. Say now, the plan that I have is to overload this space further forward. So you got 4 across the middle. And you could do it where Pau steps up there. You could do it like that if you wanted. Because he's got the ball control and the skills to play those balls in. But even when he's here, and if Matson was to come in here, right, at this position, I've seen him push into this space and play dimes, to play ball, whoop, whoop, whoop. He's key to us succeeding. I know defensively it's scary. I know that he's a bit weak. He's a bit meaty, innit? He's a bit meaty. But He is key. He's a bit like, okay, no, this I was gonna say something crazy then. I was gonna say something crazy. He's like a poor man's Van Dijk in the sense that he can play balls. Like all the top teams that I watch, their centre backs are able to play the ball past that first line of defence. And right now, can't really do it with Mings, can't really do it with Concert. And I just need to see what Lindelof's saying, because if Lindelof can play and he's top level, he's right footed, so potentially we could have this as our starting 11. As our best starting 11 right now. I think. Oh, wait. Sorry, Megan. Love you, man. But this is it, man. I think this is our best starting 11 with the squad that we have right now. If everybody's firing all cylinders. I think right-footed centre-back. You never know. Garcia might come back and be absolutely electric. Matty Cash might come back and be absolutely electric, and then Concert can kind of come in here, and Lindelof can kind of be another backup or whatnot. But I think this is a real good 11, and yeah, I think it can work. I think we have to do our best to progress the attacking play forward. Otherwise, we're just going to be overloaded and we're not going to be able to do anything. And the players need to move. So on Saturday, when we play Everton, this is what I'm trying to see. Even if they don't take, I'm just a man, I'm not paid to do this. Even if they don't do that progress in the box further up than that I suggested, we need to be active in what we're doing. So, yeah, I'm positive. I just think we need to get a couple goals, win under our belt, and we might see the things improving. Concert scored today for England. I know that's going to boost his confidence. He's been away for a week and a bit, and I know them guys have fun. Rodgers has been playing at a top level, and what I will say, the runs that he makes, and you saw him make, if you watch the Serbia game, if you saw the runs that he's making there, he's making them same runs for Villa. No one's finding him. And this is what I'm saying. People like Powell, Tielemans needs to just play a little with his head up a little bit. Sometimes Kamara, when he plays in the half term, is exactly the same. And I think with the players like Harvey Elliott, who are used to players finding them, it's going to demand more of them. So I hope we can do this, man. I hope we can do this. I hope it's something that we can do, and we can just get going finally, man. It's just I'm tired. I'm tired of being rubbish because we are a big club. But yeah, 3 games in, still a lot of time to go. Just need to take advantage of these next few weeks so that we can go into Europe with less worries about the Prem and get ready for that busy period, November, December, without worrying about the league. But yeah, guys, appreciate you. I am excited for Saturday. I'm praying that my reaction will be a good one. I'm going to try and do a watch along if I can, and we'll go from there. But yeah, thank you guys. Make sure you are subscribing to this channel. Make sure you're sharing it with somebody else, and up the Villa always. Peace.